We are moving on to yet another silver, but also a gold company. This one's in Colombia, and it's called Outcrop Silver and Gold Corp. Trading in Toronto is OCG and also MRG1 over here in Europe. This is a $50 million market cap company, and they are looking for precious metals in Colombia this time, so that's going to be an interesting one to hear about as well. They have a total of 5 projects, if I'm not mistaken, which we'll be hearing about from Joe Hebert, their CEO. Welcome.
I'm going to talk about Outcrop's flagship Santa Ana project. We have a high-grade gold discovery we made a little over 2 years ago, and we just in the last week or so moved it into the maiden resource stage. Forward-looking statements. So we have a significant milestone, obviously, with the resource. Pretty good numbers with respect to grade in particular. 1.26 million tons at 614 grams equivalent silver, containing 24.1 million ounces, and an inferred resource estimated at 966 tons, silver grading 435 grams per ton. So why Outcrop, or why Santa Ana, is the very high grades. It was a colonial camp, and parts of the colonial empire. It was the highest grade producer of the empire. You can see some headliner assays, 6.9 kilograms over a meter, 1.7 kilograms over 5.9 meters. We have near-term targets, 11 near-term targets with up to 10 kilograms silver at surface. World-class, we think we have roughly 150 kilometers of veins identified and projected. So that kind of puts it into the class of the famous Mexico districts like Fresnillo or Guanajuato. Less than 17% of the project of the veins have been tested, and we're rapidly regrouping for another aggressive drill campaign into the rest of this year. Team is a great team, obviously technically, but also in particular very strong team regarding social license, social interaction, with very innovative programs that allowed us to drill without problem for that almost 2.5 years. So the capital structure is 195 million shares outstanding. Market capital is fully diluted at 302 million. Market capitalization around 50 now, 66 not very long ago. We have institutional investors and high net worth retail at 74%, management and directors at 12%. I've managed to put away about 2%. Eric Sprott is maintaining 14%, and we do have analyst coverage with Research Capital. They're as a speculative buy, but they're forecasting a share price of 75 cents when we do deliver 50 million. So I've got 36 years experience, all types of economic geology. Our vice president of exploration is also strong. We hired him away from Lundin Gold, where he worked at Fruta del Norte. It was very timely for us coming into the resource stage. Just a quick overview. It's a highway access. It's a drive-up project. There's a major transmission line across the property. Strong water that can be developed on the property itself. Very strong community support and excellent security conditions. And importantly, with the new government, silver is considered a energy transition metal, so that we are aligned with the government on the metals we're producing. We've got 61,000 meters of drilling in 342 holes, so substantially de-risked. The weighted average grade of all our intercepts, which is over 300, but above the expected cutoff grade, is 1.1 kilograms silver equivalent. That equivalent is 4.18 grams gold and 810 grams silver, and very minor lead and zinc that we're not really taking account of in the resource. Near-term exploration potential is 18 kilometers. On the northeast end is the Royal Santa Ana Mines. On the southwest end, 18 kilometers away, is what's called the Frias mine, and it produced 8 million ounces of silver at 1.3 kilograms, recovered up to about 1910. This is just the detail of the mineral resource, 24.1 million ounces at 614 grams, inferred 13.5 million ounces at 434. Together, it's roughly 37.6 million ounces at 513 grams. 64% of the ounces are classified as indicated. 73 to 74.8% of the resource is actual silver. Only 7 veins in the initial resource out of numerous multiple veins, 5 times prospective veins than resource veins in the resource. We have a very high exploration success rate. We drill about 630 equivalent silver ounces for about every meter we drill. This is a busy slide, but the left chart is, or table is research capital's comps for 4 or 5 projects. We compete very well. With respect to our indicated resource grade at 614 grams, we only know, there may be more, but we only know of 1 project with accurate information that has a higher indicated grade. That would be Las Chispas, Silvercrest Las Chispas at 913. High indicated grade, high overall grade, and resource 64% classified. So the red on this slide, in the upper part of the slide, are the actual veins in the resource at detailed scale. And the orange, less prevalent, are the prospective veins. By prospective, those veins have been sampled, mapped, and you can see some of the values maybe, but I mean, almost every target has over 1 or 2 kilograms up to 9 kilograms silver equivalent at surface. Very simple exploration process for us, almost all of it outcrops. So we're able to either get underground with artisan mines or trench it at surface, put your hands on it, stand off with the drill rig and drill it. A very high success rate. This is just a illustration of some grade thickness contoured chutes. We have Las Maris, 1.71 meters at true, 1.71 meters true thickness at 906 grams. It has roughly 6.5 million ounces in it itself. Los Naranjos on the opposite side with 0.75 meters true width at 926 grams and offering over 2.2 million ounces. This is an illustration of a little bit of over drilling with respect to maiden resource. That's why we ended up with a lot of high quality, high confidence ounces, but a little bit less scale than what we wanted because the drill density is probably higher than it needed to be at this stage of exploration. It's narrow veins. The minimum model width was 1 meter, so I think we're about 1.2, 1.3 average width. And but in places, this being the Roberto Tovar in the central part of the Royal Santa Ana area, almost everywhere you have high angle veins. They're a package of veins in places that you can just composite and or in the future mine them together. Here's a case where you have 3 veins in wall rock and you can get up to 8 meters true thickness at 450 grams equivalent per ton. So these areas of compositing really help us on our overall thickness, and they especially help us where we have 1 meter minimum width. Another good thing about the project is, you know, you hold your breath on the metallurgy, on your new discovery. We've done some pretty extensive testing by now for the resource estimation. 90% of the gold is in free particulate state, you know, basically like a gravity type separation recovery. 4% is in very coarse electrum, which is an alloy of silver, 70% silver gold. Coarse native wire silver, and then fortunately 88% of the rest of the silver is in all-in canthite argentite. That's 87% silver by chemical composition. So really, with respect to processing, it's one mineral to crack. So that kind of mineralogy leads to these sorts of recoveries. Bulk concentrate, cyanidization may be even better, but we have average recoveries of silver of 93.4%, average recoveries of gold of 96.7%. Those are just really outstanding numbers. The grind is reasonable at about 150 microns. And what's also interesting is when we produce a bulk concentrate that wouldn't involve any toxic chemicals, we can get 12.1 kilograms silver and 172 grams in the concentrate. So it could be a concentrate chipping operation. The social programs, obviously, you have to be on top of them. In Colombia, you have to particularly be aware because they have such a short history of modern mining. But we do some very innovative things. We've got 178 wheelchairs we brought into the country for the disabled in the north end of Tolima. We've done we have a reforestation program where we actually have a platoon of the military doing the plantings. We have one thing that we did was beekeeping. We did it as a micro cap business, but what we found was, as I think right now, we think we own 8 million bees, and in about 7 areas of hives. Each one of those hives, the bees will cover about 700 hectares, and within 12 months, all the farmers were overjoyed because their avocados were producing 3 times as much, their mangoes were producing, vegetables were producing because of the real pollinators had been brought back to the countryside. So we thought, well, how are we going to keep those bees alive since they killed them all off before? We put together little plants to build organic fertilizer, organic pesticides, and then what we do is kind of a mentoring type program where we equip the neighbor to do something like the fertilizer or the pesticides or the bees, and they mentor their neighbors, and it has an expanding reach through the community, helping the community. We've got about 463 jobs, direct and indirect. That's significant because there's only 9,000 people in the municipality of Falan. So that allows, is roughly 4% of the employment is from us. So catalysts, really good news flow coming for the next 12 months. We'll be drilling 9 to 11 high-grade targets. Again, outcropping veins. We'll drill the Frias mine, which around the Frias mine, which produced 8 million at high grade, and then we'll have 2 to 3 drill rigs once we get the momentum going again for this program. We think we can drill 20 to 22,000 meters in the next 10 months. And in a month or a month and a half following, do a revised resource report on that drilling. And then we have some other projects we're doing just basic exploration for.
Does anybody have any questions? Well, I have one. We heard about the political situation in Mexico, political situation in Peru, so it only makes sense if we heard a little bit about the political
Yeah, well, Gustavo Petro, he's definitely left green. He was elected basically as a result of the COVID situation and the people in the country feeling they really weren't being helped. And but better with 40% of the population under the poverty, better a political transition than social upheaval. We're aligned with the government. The government wants two things. They want to produce green transition metals, so silver, gold, nickel. We're aligned with that. They want to benefit communities as a populist. We're doing as much as we can for the countries, for the people in the countryside, and then the energy transition aspect again is something that they support. So they'll support us as a company. Since Petro, Air's received its full mine permit on Marmato. It's a 9 million ounce deposit. So we know he's permitting mines. And at the same time, Cerro Matoso, the nickel mine, open pit nickel mine to the northwest, he extended their mine permit 18 years. So it's a different environment, sort of politically, and a little worrisome, but I think if you're aligned with what the government wants, you'll be supported.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you.